Hi there, my name is Rod Scotland and welcome to the home of Completely Managed. The team and I would like to introduce to you the new Cisco Spark Kit. We've created a series of videos to help you initially receive and unbox your kit, properly pack it up for further shipping, and also utilize it for demonstrations and customer use. So with that, let's get started.
Hi, my name is Rick Lloyd with Completely Managed. Just wanted to take you through what you're going to see when you receive your first SmartKit. So your SmartKit's been shipped to you inside this specially designed container. Say specially designed because there's a specific amount of foam placed strategically throughout the case to protect it during shipping to you, and also to be repurposed for shipping to trade shows, to customer events, and further packaging even just for in your warehouse to keep it safe. Make sure that you do keep this aside because you will be reusing this package to ship it. As soon as you open the kit, the first thing you're going to see is a couple of foam inserts. What I'm showing you here. It's imperative that you retain these foam inserts because you do need them after every demonstration to repack your kit for either reshipping or even for simply just placing down and putting back into your office space. So just remember, hang on to this foam. Now what you're going to see on the outside of your SmartKit, it's got a series of 4 compression latches to keep everything nice and tight. You're going to see 2 exterior doors. In this case, they're blue, one on the front, one on the side. The one on the side here is a power exit door or power entrance door, which you will use to plug in your external power to power up the kit. The door on the front of the case slips down like this, where you're going to see a series of through-case connectivity that Rod will touch base with you on a little further in the demonstration. So for right now, let's just open your case. As mentioned before, you got your foam in here. Little signs on here just to remember how important it is, or just to remind you how important it is to put these back inside the case. And with that, let's run through all the componentry that you will find inside your kit.
All right, let's have a look at the devices that are contained within the Cisco Spark Xperience Kit. Starting on the far left, that is the Cisco IP phone 8841. The 8841 is a wired phone. It's pre-registered to Spark, does not support video, and does not support Bluetooth. The center device there, that is the Cisco 8845. The 8845 does support video and does support Bluetooth. On the far right is the SX10N. That is a video room experience solution that we've been able to integrate into the Spark Kit. Within that device also supports capabilities such as proximity, which we'll get to in a feature video. Just underneath the SX10N is the supporting monitor. Very particular monitor, very thin, supports HDMI, and is powered over USB. Let's make our way down to the bottom section of the kit. We'll focus first on what we call the grid slide. That's the far left drawer on the side of the kit that we house and mount the wireless keyboard with trackpad and also the Android tablet. So with respect to that, the Android tablet and the keyboard do require charging. If you look slightly to the right, you'll see a bundle of cable, and within that bundle are the charging adapters that are pre-powered for you just to simply plug into the adapter that exists within each of the tablet and the keyboard to charge them. So as we make our way a little bit to the right, you can see the Cisco powered Ethernet switch. And that little 8-port Ethernet switch is the switch that powers everything in the kit from a PoE perspective and also provides network connectivity. That switch, you can see follow the green cable coming into the Meraki Z1. The Meraki Z1 is the router, the firewall, and the methodology of which we provide the management and remote access to the kit, but also provides the internet access for you to register to Spark and perform your demonstrations. Let's focus a little bit just under the monitor there. You can see with the little red button on the micro compute module. That micro compute module basically is a low-powered computer providing us enough power to run the Windows 10 desktop environment, allowing you to demonstrate Windows-based applications, including Cisco Spark, but also run PowerPoints and other web browsing experiences off of that. Just under that is something that we call the video destination switch. The video destination switch, you can see that it's labeled monitor and HDMI out. With a simple press of that button, we'll redirect the video that is purposed for the monitor outside the HDMI port that exists on the outside of the case. If I continue going right, you'll see something called the EVUNS Switch. That switch has been purpose-built for this particular kit. EVUNS stands for Ethernet Video USB Network Switch. The red button starting at the far left of that switch is a really important one because it allows you, by simply pressing it, to rotate the video or switch the source video from the monitor, or to the monitor rather, between the SX10 and the video micro compute module. In other words, if I push that button once, it will show me the contents that exist on the compute module, and if I push it again, it'll flip the source video to the SX10. Just under that are the two blue buttons. These are pretty important as well. These are our network switch capabilities. Within the Xperience, we have two ways of connecting to the internet. The first method is to connect through the dedicated wired port on the front of the kit, and that is labeled as port B. If you press the one that's or the button that's labeled hotspot, that will provide you access to where that yellow cable goes inside the power supply unit, or the PSU. We've created a wireless hotspot environment within the PSU that allows you to use your mobile cell phone and your data plan to allow the kit to come online should you not have physical internet access available. Finally, within that, you can see that power supply unit. This accommodates up to a total of 6 plugs, 4 that are in use, and you can see under the yellow cable where the on and off button is that turns the kit on and off, and that is the single place that you power on the actual kit. So with that, let's begin the power on process of the SmartKit itself. All right, so let's apply power to the kit. So the first thing I'm going to do is basically open the door for the power. I'm going to take the power cable that was provided with the kit and insert it into the actual port. And now I have wall power to the kit. It's the single and only place that you do apply power to the kit in itself. All right, so now I'm going to find my way over to the second door that exists within the kit. Before I open the door, I'd like to speak to you about the label on the front of that door. As you can see, the kit number, that kit number is unique to every kit, and you'll refer to it frequently as you're performing demonstrations and also receiving support from Completely Managed. So I'm going to open up the door, and you can see that I now have access to a WAN port, a USB, HDMI, and PoE port. So each of those ports performs something very unique, and that is that starting at the WAN interface, if I'm at a trade show or I'm doing a demo where the customer or the trade show event has the ability to provide me with a wired connection, I simply plug it into the WAN port. My USB interface allows me to plug in a separate USB keyboard and monitor, or mouse for that matter, where the HDMI port allows us to now, with that video destination switch, simply press that switch, and now all of the video in the kit from the SX10N or the Windows computer is now redirected out that port. That port then can be plugged into an external big monitor or an overhead projector. And then on the far right, that power over Ethernet port, if I want to take yet a third phone or a device and plug it in there, that will provide it integration into the kit. This is a good example of the ability to take a third party and plug it into that port and have something that's not necessarily contained within the kit for demonstrations. All right, so now I'm just going to simply plug my Ethernet connection into the WAN port of the kit. All right, let's power on the kit. So now with everything applied, I'm simply just going to reach under the PSU and flip the power on button. And with that, what I like to do now is just have a quick inspection around the kit. So I'm going to focus on the Ethernet switch, and you can see the green light blinking as it's booting up. Then I'm going to shift my focus to the Meraki. The Meraki, as you probably know, upon its initial power cycle goes through several colors. The particular color that we are wanting to see out of the Meraki to indicate that it does have internet connectivity is a static white for the Z1. So we'll come back to that and check on and validate that the non-blinking white light has occurred. But then what we'll do is focus on the compute module. So the compute module needs to be powered on independently when you do use the kit. So with respect to that, you can see the red button, and I'm just going to push and hold that button until you see the blue light turn on, and basically allow that now to boot up. As you can see, as I shift up to my phones, they're blinking and the screens are coming up, so that's a great indication that my phones are receiving power, and soon they will be registered to Spark. And basically now I'll shift down to the keyboard, and I did mention that these require power, and so this bundle of cables right here, particularly these, are the two dual ends that allow me to power the actual tablet and the keyboard. So having said that now, I'm just going to go and touch base with the Meraki to see how it's doing in coming online. All right, as you can see, that Meraki's light is a static white, not blinking. Absolute indication that you have internet. Should that light not get to this state, then you need to perform some troubleshooting to determine if you're receiving DHCP or static from the provided WAN connection. The second thing to note is to make sure that your EVUNS switch, your WAN B button is pushed and not sitting on your hotspot A. That is a sure situation that will certainly confuse your internet. So just apply the button according to your proper Ethernet connection. All right, having said that, let's look around to see how our kit's doing here. Okay, you can see the computer is booted up. You can see that white ring on the SX10N. That's a great indication that it's powered up. That camera is looking at us, and that's a good thing, as you'll notice that camera does move when the device gets registered. And then you can see our phones, they're registered, and the screens are on, and sometimes those screens actually just immediately go to a power saving mode. And that's okay, just touch the button to watch those screens turn up. And from here I can place phone calls and start to deliver my demonstrations. All right, let's focus on the phone itself. So the actual handset, as you can see, as per Cisco shipping, we try to keep and maintain the felt sleeve that the phone handsets ship in. Above and beyond this, we've created a capability so that you're able to rest your phone inside the little holders within the kit, and then with the Velcro keep it in its place as such here. So basically just keeping the Velcro relatively wrapped around the phone, and it's held in there very, very good. You could close your case and basically the phones are relatively safe. However, we do encourage you to keep the sleeves that Cisco has provided you with. And so when you do remove the phone, you can place it in the cradle, place it into what we've provided to further accommodate the phone. But we actually highly advise you to place it in the protective sleeve, and then from there, basically using the Velcro, put the phone back in its place before you shut the lid. All right, so the final thing that we're going to cover is what we call the grid slide. And the grid slide is our way and manufacturing ability to allow you more desktop space, if you will, for utilizing the kit. So we've particularly manufactured handles that are dual purpose. They hold down the keyboard, but they're also handles that you can insert your fingers into, allow you to basically pull the grid slide forward and then further open the grid slide up and then even tilt it forward. So with that, now what we are exposed to is the Jabra Speak 810. And the Jabra Speak 810 will be covered in detail in a different video. However, for the purposes of this video, there's some important things to consider. The Jabra Speak 810 is hardwired to the SX10N, and it completes the audio of the room video experience. If you consider the actual drawer here, you'll notice that there is a remote control. The remote control in this particular place has been engineered to allow us to manipulate the SX10N, change the camera focus, change the volume, and things of that nature. What is really important to make note of is to take, when you're done with the remote, to make sure that you pressure fit it back into its place, and then that will hold it in place for shipping and just simply packing up your kit. The final topic here will be the actual laminated guide. This guide is really important to keep with your kit. It'll have your kit ID up here. However, what it does help you understand is the actual devices in the kit, their purpose, their capability and configuration, IP addresses, and basically walking you through or as a reference to how to utilize the devices in it. When you flip that laminated guide over, you can see usernames and passwords and extension numbers and URI addresses associated to each user within the kit. You'll see an area which offers additional information as far as passwords and processes, and then of course a good summary of the interfaces of the switching that happens within the kit. It's important that you keep this guide and try to keep it with your kit at all times. What we like to do is basically keep it underneath the grid slide in itself, and that way when I do close the drawer of the grid slide, I can now use it to keep it in place. Okay guys, so with that, I think we're pretty familiar now with the kit in itself and the components within it. We're going to shift our focus now to further videos that explain the use of the kit and the applications that you're able to demonstrate.